Welcome to the fastest stop in town. Today we're going to Sotah Sotah, Daf Yud Zayin. We're going to begin at the very top of the new Mishnah. Masnisin says, Bolo lichtoiv es Megillah. So me'eza makom hu kaisiv. So when it comes to the Megillah Sotah, what psukim exactly need to be written? So according to the Shita Rabbi, it's from Ve'im lo shachav ish v'goymer. So this is a pasuk which is pasuk Yutes. Now it begins v'hishba oisar kohen v'omer el isha, so that the kohen speaks to the wife, to this woman, and then only in the middle of the pasuk is where you actually begin writing it. Im lo shachav ish oisach v'im lo satis tumatachas sheikh. If you are not impure, then hinaki mimei hamarim eila, then you're going to be clean from these waters. These bitter waters will not affect you in any way. So according to Rabbi, you actually have to start writing from that. V'ad kisatis tachas yishech, and you, where it says v'ad kisatis, which is the next pasuk, kisatis tachas yishech v'chinitmes. If you did do these things, if you did commit adultery, v'yitin ish boch es shechavto mibali ishech. So that pasuk in entirety is written. But we do not write the part of Hishbiya HaKoyin Esa Isha, which is the next part of the pasuk of pasuk Chafal. Hishbiya HaKoyin Es Isha B'Shvua Sa'ola. We don't say that. That part, we don't have that written down. V'yishbiya kohen es isha v'kosav yitin Hashem oisach l'ola shvua uva hamorim mo'ela b'meyayich lisleis beten v'lanpil yarechech. Again, that the stomach and the thigh will be affected. However, the end of the pasuk as it continues, the end of pasuk of Beis, we write everything, the beginning pasuk of Beis, but then when it says V'amar Isha Amin Amin, that we don't mention. So we don't mention anything about her response, which is the accepting of what was said, which is the Kabbalos, and also we do not mention the tzavos, since it's only instructions to the Kohen. So those things are not written down. Fine. Rabbi Yossi Omer Lo haya mafsik. He disagrees. This is starting from pasuk Yutes. You write the pasuk Chaf Aleph, and also continuing into pasuk Chaf Beis. Apparently, even the end of the pasuk of Amar Ha'isha Amen Amen. Everything is written, even the tzavos, even the instructions, and also the Kabbalahs of her accepting it. Says all this is not written except for the part that says Yitin Hashem Oisach Ha'ol Shvua. According to him, he also says you do not say the Amen Amen, which is the Kabbalas. So, says the Gemara. So, b'mai kamifli, what exactly is this three-way machlokas? So, b'hai kral kamifli, they argue with the interpretation of the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Kasav es olos eile hakohen b'sefer," that the Kohen is supposed to write these curses down, the curses in a sefer. So, Rameir, who is his first opinion, holds savar alois mamish. When it says always the curses, it means you're supposed to write down the curses. Where, for example, Yitin Hashem Osach Hamorim Mariam Ha'el B'Meyayich, which is the curse that these bitter waters will affect you. And then the fact that it says Ha'olos with a hey, because Rabbis Klolos Habois Machmas Brachos. So he says that's also coming to include the curses that come from the blessings. That he naki mimei hamarim, where it says the part that you will be innocent. So it doesn't just mention the part where if you did something wrong that you'll be punished, but you should also mention Rameir the part of the pasuk in pasuk Yutes of imlo shachav ish osach if you didn't. Eile, so the fact that the pasuk also says the word Eile is muti klolos, is coming to exclude her acceptance by saying amen amen, she b'mishnah Torah, which is in brought down in Mishnah Torah in Sefer Devarim. Says Rashi, "Di kasav krav kasav es olos b'sefer havimashim olos shem Mishnah Torah yichacha yacha Hashem b'shachefes," which is in Kisavo. Ha'elel imyutit tzavos v'kabolos amen. So it's coming to exclude again all the commandments, all of the instructions. V'yishba kainas isha, as we said, that's just why Rameir holds pasuk yud tes. You don't write the whole pasuk. You don't. The pasuk begins v'hishma olisa kohen v'amar isha. That's not written down. Only from imo shacham ish, because before that, that's savais, and he holds that the savais, the savais, which is the instructions, does not get written down. And also kabbalos, which is why he also holds that the end of pasuk chaf beis, where it says the woman says v'amar isha amen amen, that also is not written down. So mutit tzavos v'kabolis. Amen. Rabbi Yossi says kulu k'de'amr. So again, according to the second sheet of our Mishnah, he is of the opinion that actually everything is written down. You write down even the tzavos and the kabols, because kulu k'de'amr, everything like we said. Es is the rabos tzavos v'kabolis. He says that the fact there's the word es in the pasuk, because of es ha'olos, is coming to include also the instructions to the Kohen, also her acceptance. Everything is written down. Rameir esen l'darish. The reason why Rameir holds it's that we do not include these things because he doesn't darsh in the word es. Rabbi Yehuda kulu, according to Rabbi Yehuda, which is the third opinion, he says that you do not write down the kabbalos, and all you do is you start writing down from Yitin Hashem Oisach Olav Shvua. So Rabbi Yehuda Kuhu B'Yimiyute Darshulhu Olos Mamish. All these drashos he darshans. Olos Mamish, the curses. Ha'olos is muti klolos habayis machmas brachos. Says you don't mention the pasuk yud tes, where it says im lo shachav ish. You don't mention that. Eila is muti klosha b'mishnah Torah. Ha'ela muti tzavos v'kabolos. So again, based on this drasha, what is being included? Okay, or excluded. Rameir, which is the Tanakama of our Mishnah, Maishna hai hey de Merabi Bey, Maishna hai hey de Mayit Bey. How come when it comes to hay of ha'olos, and is it a reboy, but yet when it says eile or ha'eile is a miyat? So hey de gabe de rebua, because hey, when it's connected to something which we're includes hey de gabe de miyuta. So it just makes sense, because if the word is an excluding word, so the hey will take upon the same meaning and will also exclude. But doesn't he not hold of this whole concept? It says Rashi, Rameir Omer Kol Tanai Shenu Ketanai Beis Bnei Gad Bnei Reuven Enu Tanai. It's necessary when we know that Gad and Reuven, they went to Moshe, they wanted to take the Transjordan, so it had to be identical. Whatever was done, that condition for them to get that land, it was a Tanai Kofel. If you do it, then fine. If not, not. So everything, when you make a Tanai, has to be similar to the way that condition was made. It says Rashi, Ha lo kafle b'chlalav loy tishmahin. So the fact that it's not written as it's Tanai Kofel, so this is not Kofel, so then it shouldn't work. That shouldn't come to have any validity. So Reb Tanchan Hanoki Ksiv. So the fact is, it says Hanoki. What does that mean? It says Rashi below Yud. De mashma Hanoki im lo shachav v'tidrash hachi tuma tachasi sheikh chinki. So actually, he holds it actually is like it's kafel. This is more brought down in Kedushin, that because Noki could also be like chenek. That if you're guilty, you'll get killed, like chenek, strangulation, as opposed to being innocent. So therefore it is comparable because of like a Tanai Kafel, and therefore it is you could learn out these drushes. Darish Rabbi Kiva, Ish v'isha zachu shchina b'neihem, lo zachu eish ochaltan. A very famous drusha that if you look at the word Ish and Isha, the words almost identical. A man and a woman, they have a lot of equal features. However, they're not identical completely. Men and women are different, and the difference is a yud and a hey. So if they're zoicha, what does that mean, zoicha? So Rashi says lechas b'derech yeshara, that they're normal, they go properly. Shoyehi hu noyef v'lo hi noefes, that they remain connected to one another. So then Shechina b'neihem, says Rashi, Shahari chilik es shemo v'shechina b'neihem yud b'ish v'hei b'isha. However, lo zachu eish ochaltan, if not, fire will consume them. It says Rashi, Shakadosh Baruch Hu masalig shemo b'neihem v'nimsu eish v'eish, so it'll end up being fire. Rava u'deisha adifa medeish. On some level, a woman is greater than a man, says Rashi. Eish shel isha, the fire of a woman is kasha, is stronger, umamaheres echol, and is able to quickly destroy. V'lepara mishel ish. Why? My taima. Hai mitzaref v'hai lo mitzaref, says Rashi. What does that mean? Eish shel isha, the fire of a woman, noichel hadlik maher, it can burn quickly. Shein os shel shem mafsik, there's no letters that are separating from that letter when it comes to an isha, because it says Aish, Aleph and Shin, so Aish is like more connected. Ela mechuberhu v'nikra Aish, so her name has the word fire in it. So a woman has more of this fire, which also represents raw emotion. Avol shel ish ein oisios shel eish mitzterafos yachad. The letters are not next to each other. Shayud shel shchina nafsekes. That the yud separates it, which basically means that if you have God in your life, that's a way of being able to control your emotions, of being able to separate it. Omer Rabbi minima Omer Torah havi afar l'saita. So why does it say you're supposed to put afar by a sotah? Zachsa yotz mimena bein ka'avram avinu. If you're zaycha, you'll have a child like Avram. Dechsiv bei afar va'efer. Lo zachsa taxel afar. Otherwise, then unfortunately she'll die. Dorish Rabbi b'schar amar Avraham avinu va'noicha afar va'efer zachu banav l'beis mitzvos. And the proper reading is either for Sotah the Afer Paro, or the other way around. So this is going to be question TB 29. Ma zacha Avraham b'schar shemer v'anochi afer v'Afer. So he was zaycha to Sotah and also to the Paraduma. So it's interesting, even though they're totally different things, obviously there's an element of Avraham acknowledging his humility. So this also is found by the Paraduma because it shows our lack of complete understanding because it's a chok. And also when it comes to a sotah, it represents again this element of humility as well, of subservience and recognition of Hashem's power and dominion over us. Ve'ika nami afar kisei hadam. So what do you mean? How about kisei hadam? No hasam hechsher mitzvah ika hana leika. Over there is a hechsher mitzvah but no hana. Says Rashi, ve'ein ze kibul sachar. Avokan yesh hana b'sayit l'asei shalom, that there's peace. The shlu yarba mamzerim b'Yisrael im zaynehi ve'im niksa v'nizra zeram avatel laz me'al baneha. So either way it'll be good. Either the person who's wrong would be punished, and therefore she's not going to continue to do wrong, or if she is found innocent, then it'll be good for her future children and also her current children. No one's going to say that her children are illegitimate. The Efer Parel with Taharan Lazachas Israel Memase Egel. Very interesting. So it represents the atonement for the Maisa Egel that we did the golden calf. That he refused to take even a shoelace from Sodom after him going and defeating after the war of the 4 kings and the 5 kings, and he was able to defeat the 4 kings in order to save Lot. Zachu banav lebeis mitzvahs, chut shel techeles, ritzua shel tefillin. He was zoichet to the techeles for the tzitzis and also the tefillin. Fine. Okay, it doesn't really explain. So Rashi says kibul scharhu deika hana of a chut shel techeles shel tzitzis my hana ika. So it's bishul meritzua shel tefillin dechsev baraka beru kolami aretz ki shem Hashem nekro lechash. They see you and they fear you. So v'tanya Rabbi Lezer gadol emer el tefillin shiburaish. Again, it doesn't say tefillin shel rosh. So many people say it's like in the head. So when you wear the tefillin, that it's like a separate part of your body, but it's almost like part of who you are. That's when they fear you. El chut shel techeles my he desan your hayra meir oimer ma nishtan the techeles mikol mini tzivayin. Why blue? Memnei shet techeles dam yam, because the techeles reminds you of the sea. V'yam daimel rakia, and the yam reminds you of the sky. Rakia daimel kisei kavich. Nemar b'yuras elokei Yisrael v'sachas raglav kamasi livnas hatzapir, like the stone. Uke'etzam hashamayim l'toyhar, like the clear sky. Uksiv kimari evan sapir demus kisei. So some people learn from here that the whole notion, so why isn't the Tchelas Mamish just like the same color as the Kisei Kavod? Because the way that we're able to connect to God is through the physical world. By looking at the Tchelas, and it reminds you of the ocean, reminds you of the sky, so it reminds you of all the things of nature in this world. Nature is a way that you can connect to God. Okay. Next Mishnah, Masnisa. Enu kaisav lo al luach lo al nair. The person's not supposed to write on wood. Nair is shalatzavim, like grass, which is almost like Rash says, v'oisin kamo or it's like a leather. V'lo al, as we continue Yud Zayin Mevez, not on diphthera. Diphthera, Rashi says, is or she'enu ubad kol tsarka. It's like untreated. Damliach v'kamiach v'ofitz. That it may have been salted and they put flour, but I didn't put gallnut on it, which is another element of the process of making paper or cloth. Ella al Megillah. The Megillah, it has to actually be an actual material, which is again like cloth. Shenemar basefer. Basefer, Rashi says, is cloth, parchment. Ve'enu kaisev lo b'koimois lo b'kan. You can't use kumus. Rashi says, is sarafa ilan, like sap from a tree, and not kantum, which is so and so in laz. V'lo b'chol davar shiroishim. These are things that leaves markings. El b'diyoi. You have to use diyoi. So what's the problem? B'chol davar shiroishim, says Rashi. V'nivel b'klaf. It absorbs into the parchment. V'niyochel limchait. That's impossible to ever erase. V'kumus v'kankatum avdi roishim. They remain with markings. So even if you put it in with water, it will not completely erase. It has to be dio, which has the potential to erase. El b'diyah shenem umacha. So it's ksav shiachol imachos. It has to be something that could get erased. Says the Gemara, Omar Rabba, Megillah Saita shekasab l'ayla psula. If you write it at night, it's possible. My time asetar ksiv hacha v'asala hakayin kol tarazos. That's supposed to do all this Torah. Ksiv hasam. Elsewhere, it's written over there in Sefer Devarim. Al pi atarashi arucha al mishpat. So my mishpat, just like when it comes to law, it has to be bayoim. This is brought down Masechta Sanhedrin because the pasuk says v'haya bayom hanchiloi. So av Megillah Saita bayoim, it has to be done during the day. So if you write the Megillah Sot at night, it doesn't work. Kostam mafrei psula, like a lot of other things. If you wrote things backwards, like Yerechech, Lanpil, Betin, Litzavos, Memayich, you write everything upside down, backwards, not in the proper order of the pasuk. Possible to say v'kasav es os te'ela. So the fact that it says that ki dechsiva, says Rashi, mamash b'kamoshehin sidurin b'parsha, has to be in the proper order. Kos v'koidim sh'tikabel lehashvua, if you write it down before she accepted her oath, psula, that's not the proper order. Shnemar first v'hishpiya v'achach l'kasav. You have to do as the Torah says. The Torah says first she makes a shvua and then afterwards you write it. Kos v'igeres psula. If you write it as an igeres, it's possible. TA 27. K27, Madin Megillah Saita Shekosve Geras, like a letter, it's possible. So what does that mean? So Rashi says, Blo Sirtut. You have to have etchings in order for it to be kosher. Bas Sefer. What does it mean, Sefer? Omar Chmana says Rashi, V'halacha Moshe Sinai Shasvarim Srichen Sirtut. Because it has to be Bas Sefer. The Sefer has to have these etchings, and therefore, if not, then it is considered to be possible. It's not a valid ksiva. As we continue, Chesed Aleph, Kosva al Shnei Dapin Psul. If you write on 2 columns, no. Sefer Echad Amar Rachman V'lo Shnaim Shloisha Svarim. It has to be 1 column and not 2 or 3. Kosav Os Achas. If you write 1 letter, then you erase it into this drink, into this kli. You have to write the whole thing, and then it gets dissolved. And therefore, it has to be kol haTorah zos. Has to be the entire thing. Okay, let's see. Last couple of questions. We'll stop. Question 10. What do we learn out because it says sefer? First of all, if you write it as an igeris, like a letter, which means without sirtut, it's possible. Also, if you write it on 2 columns, it's possible because sefer echad oimer rachmana adkan.